From Istanbul, Turkey. This is a bit of a special broadcast for me at maybe not the most appropriate time on a Tuesday evening here, a early Tuesday morning, at least on the west coast in the US. I guess it's mid-morning over on the east coast. Maybe some people will tune in for the live broadcast, maybe not. We'll see. If you do happen to tune in right now, or if you happen to be catching the stream, then you may just be in the nick of time to catch some of the amazing views I have here in the Sultanahmet area of Istanbul. I am in my hotel room at the moment, and I'm gonna get up from my studio setting and walk you over to none other than Hagia Sophia. It's kind of hard for me to position. There we go. That's Hagia Sophia, and right over here is Sultanahmet Mosque, the Blue Mosque, which now you've got a bit of a blue backdrop to it. You've got the water. That's the Sea of Marmara right behind the mosque, and Hagia Sophia for that matter. Off in this direction, you might be able to just barely make out the Bosphorus Bridge. Yeah, that's it right there. It's hard for me to point at it. So the Bosphorus Bridge obviously spans the Bosphorus Strait, as I've discussed before, and connects Europe to Asia. And in this picture, for that matter, you can see two continents. Maybe you can't see Asia so clearly, but those lights, yeah, those lights right, yeah, you get the picture. Those lights are over in Asia. These buildings here in the old town of Istanbul are in Europe. It is a majestic setting, at least in my opinion, and that's why I am here at the moment where I'm celebrating my 30th birthday. Today is my 30th birthday, and I thought I would take the opportunity to speak with you a bit about how career-wise and journalistically I'm pivoting. So I guess it's fitting to discuss this as I am standing here in Istanbul with Asia in back of me and Europe actually in back of me as well, but I am in Europe with Asia right in the back. So you could say I'm a bit between continents. Becco is tuned in, and Becco's saying happy birthday. Thank you very much, Becco. Thank you for the birthday wishes, and thank you for tuning in. Please let me know if the volume is okay. I don't have in headphones at the moment. There's some seagulls in the background, but I don't think it's too bad. I just let the evening prayer pass, so we're not competing with that. But yeah, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk with Becco saying it's okay. I thought I'd take this opportunity to speak with you a bit about a both personal and business and professional matter for that for that matter. And I guess for now I'll keep these two grand historic buildings in the background, and then as the sun sets, head back into my little studio here. For the past 5 years, 5 plus even, I picked up my bags and left the US 5 years and 3 or so months ago, and since then over that span I've spent a whopping 24 days in the United States. So over the past 5 years I was based in Bulgaria for a while. I've now been a full-on nomad for a year, but for the past 5 years I've been living a pretty nomadic lifestyle, and that's not going to change, nor am I giving up journalism, but I am pivoting. So here I am in Istanbul, kind of the center of the world. Am I going to go east? Am I going to go west? No, it's not really about which direction I'm pivoting in terms of coverage matter or focal points of coverage or whatnot, but I'm going to be focusing, and for that matter, I really have been, and I haven't been sharing that with you. I'm going to be focusing a lot more on the business side than on the reporting side of journalism and of specifically alternative media, or I like to call it critical media. Critical media in the sense that I think it's very much needed. Also critical media in the sense that certain media actually has the cojones to criticize government. And those are the type of media that I like to associate myself with, and for that matter, that I like to put out myself. And I hope that this channel does live up to those, lives up to that aim, generally speaking, and not just being critical of government, but being accurate in reporting, being at least somewhat investigative, and also within my coverage. I'm sorry, there was a brief interruption right there. And unfortunately, in the world of critical media, as I've really seen a lot, not just over the past 5 years as I've been abroad, but pretty much over the past decade, I've seen that it's very much difficult to keep critical media afloat, and that's for a variety of reasons. In this country, it's I guess a shining example and possibly the wrong direction. As much as I love Turkey, and I've been saying lately it's probably my favorite country in the world, it's a very difficult media environment here, and if you're critical of the government, you risk running into all kinds of difficulties, if not being outright shut down or even thrown in jail. That's just the reality of it here. In a lot of countries, luckily, it's not nearly that bad. Becco's saying, yeah, jail risks. But regardless, even in the US, where I worked as a journalist for 4 or 5 years before departing and taking my show on the road, I saw a lot of blowback for reporting critically on government. I'm not going to get into that now. Maybe I'll get into it in the future. But it's not easy to sustain media operations that are critical of government. And if there's any particular aspect of it that's most difficult to sustain, it's the financial aspect. And to me, that's the greatest need. The greatest need in critical media or alternative media, whatever you want to call it, is simply that. It's funding. It's money. And because of that, I think there is a big need for people within this sphere to be putting more focus and to be becoming more interested in the business side of the equation, in the marketing, in all kinds of aspects, copywriting, sales, business development, product development, advertising, and all the various revenue and monetization routes that are out there. And that's something that I've run up against, not just with the various media outlets I work for, but for sustaining this channel and for sustaining my nomadic journalism. All right, it's starting to, the sun is just about set here. You know what, I'll give you one little panorama that I'll pop back inside to my hotel studio. So I realized several months back that I needed to pivot, that I needed to come up with some way to make what I'm doing, which was, still is to some extent, traveling around the world and reporting on geopolitics and major world events, I need to come up with some way to make that sustainable. And it basically was by me just roughing it and sleeping on buses, sleeping on trains, sleeping on airport floors, just doing whatever work I've got that pays throughout the day, and then on top of that, doing my own personal reports for YouTube or sometimes my personal website, Freeman Post, or whatnot. And I love it. I'm extremely passionate about traveling the world and discussing geopolitics with you and witnessing major world events like the refugee crisis that I saw in Europe 4 years ago, and some major elections, and covering interesting conflicts in this region in particular. It's all been a blast for me, and it's all something I want to keep doing. But I don't think the model that I've been using has been so sustainable. So ever since actually Bilderberg of this year, after Bilderberg of this year, I've been really putting a lot more focus on how can I grow myself as a journalist who is also a businessman. Brock is saying happy birthday with lots of emoticons. Thank you very much, Brock. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the birthday wishes. So I've been and Riathi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, saying happy birthday, man. Thank you very much. I'll have my Turkish birthday chai as I sit and talk to you from this glorious hotel in Sultanahmet. So I've been exploring various routes, and I'm very excited about certain possibilities. I've basically come to the conclusion, are you thinking about working for some newspaper, classic media? All right, well, let's get straight to the chase. I'm not going to go into all the details, but at the moment I am working for Luke Radowski of We Are Change. I'm working for We Are Change, and even though my background is primarily in journalism and reporting and on the editorial side, not on the business and marketing side, my efforts for Luke are focused on the business and marketing side. And that's actually been an incredible opportunity for me. It's something I'm very, very excited about. It's something I haven't talked about on this channel until now. And it's something that excites me for multiple reasons. On the one hand, Luke has been an inspiration to me. I've been lucky enough to befriend him in recent times, but going back years, he's been an inspiration to me. I saw him traveling the world, covering world events, and that's something that I want to do. I saw Luke popping up at protests around the world, and I told myself, hey, that's something I want to do. And I've gone to know him. Congratulations, Luke is great. And I've gotten to know Luke better over the past few years, and specifically this year, and he's someone who I find myself in alignment with. So it's an incredible opportunity for me in the sense that I get to work with someone I truly respect and admire, but at the same time, I've decided the onus is on me to really learn the business side of this business, because if I'm gonna survive in this industry, if he's going to survive and prosper in this industry, and many other friends and creators and buddies of his, for that matter, who are facing troubles and hardships. Bonus is he understands the importance of crystals. Yeah, he does. I do not. I've seen those crystals on several occasions. I don't get it. I guess I'm not hippie or zen enough. But yeah, so to me, what? Who's tuned in? Okay. Yeah, they have magical powers, I guess, as far as I'm aware, if you say so. And cure stuff. I don't know exactly what they cure, but they cure something. I know they've been used at Bilderberg before to make some evil, to ward off some evil globalist spirits. I guess the one time the police came storming into my room at night and pointing a gun at me while I was in bed, maybe I should have been wearing crystals. Maybe that was my lesson then. Well, anyway, regardless, it's I didn't have crystals then. I don't have crystals now. Yet somehow I seem to come and go from Turkey without running into those kinds of hardships without wearing crystals. But yeah, I guess Luke has joined in on this broadcast. So welcome to my tiny channel, Luke. Thank you. Yeah, I was saying that it's an incredible opportunity for me because now I get to focus my efforts on the business side of the business, which is something that after some serious introspection and serious reflection time, I realized that's where I want to go, and that's what I want to be the focal point of my next decade. The past decade for me has been all about bumming around the world and having a great time reporting and witnessing world events. But now I want to see that this becomes sustainable, not just for me, but for others who'd like to follow in my footsteps, Luke's footsteps, and to see that Luke's operation grows and other people who are like-minded can not only survive the apocalypses and everything that's coming from the tech giants and from censorship and from demonetization, but not just survive, but thrive and grow, and let there be alternative media, critical media, liberty-oriented media that is actually a staying force in this interesting and rapidly evolving media landscape that we've got. So to me, my new mission is to fund critical media. Basically, simply put, that's what I think the next decade of my life is going to be about, funding critical media. And the opportunity I've got right now with We Are Change is probably the best opportunity I could ask for, and I'm really loving it. I don't know how much Luke wants me to share. I guess I need to learn about crystals, but I'll put that on the list of things that I need to get on. Oh yeah, and someone was asking last week, it's come up a few times, how people can more hippie stuff, lol. Yeah, I'm not so hippie, but I do actually have a very hippie therapist. I'm not going to get into that on this broadcast. So I'm doing a lot more hippie stuff. I don't hide anything. It's all public. Share what you want. All right, that's Luke talking. Yeah, so, well, I think you're hiding that one t-shirt that's on the t-shirt store. And that's the segue. Someone was asking me last week, it's come up a few times in the past, how can you support me? And I'm not crazy about asking for donations. I'd rather create a business model that's more sustainable and that's growing. But I think we're doing exciting things with Luke's t-shirt store. So if you want to support me, I would say go over to the We Are Change Teespring store. Maybe Luke could throw a link into the chat. I forgot to pull up the chat here. So yeah, I mean, it's not directly supporting me, but it's directly supporting the exact mission that I'm on, which is get the JoJo needs 20 bucks. All right, so we've got a bit of an inside joke. I guess we'll just... This is going to get me in all kinds of trouble, because JoJo is Josh Sigurdsson, at least according to Luke, whom I just traveled around Turkey with on a really fascinating trip. That was an eye-opener for me. He's really, really into ancient civilizations, and he discusses all the time how there's proof, particularly at sites like in Turkey, such as Göbekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe, a couple of the places we recently visited, that there's proof that mainline history is completely false, and civilization and advanced technology dates way back before when mainline history says it does. So despite me having this wonderful trip with Josh Sigurdsson, I'm now involved in a t-shirt store that apparently is selling a shirt that says something along the lines of I'm not gay, but $20 is $20, and it's citing Josh Sigurdson. Not my idea. I'm not gonna necessarily say buy that one, but please head over to the Teespring store if you want to support Luke, if you want to support me. This is something I'm really having a blast with. Even on my birthday, I'm spending multiple hours working on the latest T-shirts that are coming out. So this is exactly what I want to be involved in. I want to be involved in turning critical media into a sustainable business, and I think we've got bigger things coming down the line than merely a T-shirt store. But right now, the T-shirt store is fantastic. So for whoever asked me before, you can go over to the We Are Changed Teespring store and pick out your favorite tee. The holidays are coming up, and we've got some Christmas designs that have yet to come out, although there are already plenty of good things to choose from. Commenter saying energetically you and Luke are a great balance. Oh yeah, we also have a JoJo pillow, but I don't know how my birthday broadcast turned into this, but it did. Check out the JoJo pillow if you want something that's just a little different this holiday season. Yeah, I don't know how exactly this came about, but no, Luke. Luke's a big personality. I'm not exactly a big personality, but we have done a couple Bilderbergs together, specifically this year, and we roomed together without getting invaded, without getting any guns pointed at us, without having the police go through our computers and our stuff. So I guess that was a success. Maybe it was a sign of things to come. I think it was the crystals. I don't know. Ask Luke will have to chime in as to whether or not there were crystals in the room. I didn't have any crystals in the room. I actually travel the world now with merely this thing, a school-sized backpack. Oh, there were lots of crystals in our room in Switzerland this year. I guess that's why we didn't get the treatment that we've got in years past. Anyway, I didn't know Luke was going to join in on this broadcast, but it makes things more fun and it's very fitting. Yeah, what other comments or questions do you have? I've talked so much in recent weeks and months about Turkey and Istanbul. Unfortunately, I haven't been doing a lot of reporting here at the moment. When I was rated a Bilderberg, I didn't have the crystals then. Well, okay, then I guess it's no longer correlation. I guess it's outright causation. If you have crystals with you at Bilderberg, you will not be rated. If you do not have crystals with you at Bilderberg, you will be rated. I guess the proof is in the pudding. So come 2020, late May or early June, I better find some crystals, and hopefully Luke will tell me where to shop, or maybe we'll put up some crystals on the the We Are Changed store. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe there is a significant demand for We Are Changed crystals to go along with your JoJo pillow. Oh, I don't know when he's gonna find out about that, and I'm not pleased about the timing, because he just did a favor. He mailed something that we kind of smuggled out of Turkey. It wasn't anything dangerous, but it was an interesting artifact, and he did me a favor. But yeah, if you got any comments or questions, I'm not going to go on for too long like I typically do. I try to cut it off at about a half hour. I do have travel plans ahead. It's about the time of year when I depart Europe. I've got about 10 days of travel left in Europe, and then I'm going to be leaving for the winter, heading this year to Latin America. Actually, maybe I'll see some of you at Anarchapulco in February. Where am I headed? I'm heading to Latin America. That's where I'll be headed this winter. I'm like those birds that migrate south in the winter. I can't handle European winters, although the weather in in Istanbul has been incredible lately. So if that were to keep up, I'd think about staying here. But regardless, I'm out. I've already made the plans. I'm heading to Latin America. I was hoping to be doing something along the lines of what I was doing 4 years ago here in Turkey, the Balkans, Greece, chasing around the refugees. So I was considering doing something where I would follow the prominent migrant trail up through Central America, through Mexico to California, because that's essentially the route I'm going to be on. I plan on going, I don't know exactly which countries, but up through Central America, from South America to Mexico, and then to my home state of California. How come you move from place to place like this? You following the news in each area. All right, well, that's what I'm getting at. So a large part of it has or had been driven by my desire to run around the world and do reporting a lot like Luke does. Although I don't fly around as quickly. But I was based, I don't know if you're aware, I was based in Sofia, Bulgaria for more than 4 years. And that opened up a world of opportunity to me, and it basically opened up the world to me. And I realized how easy it was being based in Bulgaria to run to this country, to cover that election, to go to this border, to cover the refugee crisis, etc., to go to Bilderberg and whatnot. And I did that for 4 years or so. I was based in Sofia, but traveling for more than half the year, and predominantly traveling for journalistic reasons. Then a year ago, I gave up my apartment, I gave up my residence in Sofia, and that was not actually entirely based upon my desire to go places more for coverage, although that was part of it, and it was something I talked about on a swing in Zanzibar, right next to the Indian Ocean, at the end of 2018, at the end of last year. So one of the opportunities that opened up, I mean, going full-on nomad as opposed to having a base did open up more reporting opportunities to me. But as I'm saying in this broadcast now, I'm pivoting. So my focus is going to be much more on the business side of things and much less on the reporting side of things. It's still my passion. I still love doing it, but there's a need, and I need to fill the need. There's an intersection between my passion and making things sustainable, and to me that's focusing on the business and marketing side of the alternative media business, and I'm excited about that. So I don't know if I'm going to be following the migrants up through Central America, through Mexico to California, where I'm literally headed this upcoming winter. That's my route. I've already got a flight out of California. Some of you might not know, I'm from Los Angeles. So I don't know to what extent I'll be doing reporting on that, because there's going to be a lot on my plate. I'm more focused on the business side of things, as I was saying. So I just missed a comment. The comment was saying, what a wonderful life, and proof that when you follow your passion and let go of everything else, the universe will support you and help provide you on that journey. Thank you very much for those kind words, and I would say that that's really been the case for me, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. And letting go and just flat out moving to Bulgaria without having been there before, and just giving up my life in the States and doing this, it didn't come so easily to me. But I did it, and it really worked out that way. And I would say, as I mentioned before, Luke's been a shining example of this. In fact, I've heard him give speeches about it, where he talks about how the universe just supports him, how he's out in the cold and doesn't have anywhere to stay. He might be covering Bilderberg or something, and out of nowhere, someone Oh, it's the crystals. Okay, excuse me. It wasn't the guy in Austria or wherever who was a fan and gave him a room. It was the crystals. The crystals did everything. It's not the universe. It's just the crystals. So I gotta go find some crystals at the nearest bazaar, and there are lots of bazaars here, but I don't know how to shop for crystals, Luke. Yes, Luke is very connected with all that. Yeah, but Luke is really a shining example of just going for it, following your passion, and having the universe support you. Really a shining example, and it's something I truly admire. And it's also something that's given me a certain level of faith and confidence in my own ability to do that. The next comment was particularly when you're using that journey to awaken so many others. I know so many people love the term being awake and awakening others. I don't really view that as my role. Also, I don't like how vague and ambiguous the term can be. As I've said in the past when I've talked about my nomadic journalism idea, it's that I'm going out in the world and I'm seeing all kinds of things that are happening, and I'm taking in a variety of perspectives. I'm trying to really receive a huge variety of perspectives, and I want to share those perspectives with you. And I started out. Someone's asking, "Are you back in Kazakhstan?" Actually, why are you asking? Am I in Kazakhstan? I'm very curious, but then I'll tell you why my current location correlates to Kazakhstan. But yeah, why are you asking if I'm in Kazakhstan? And now I lost my train of thought. I don't know where were we with that before we got the Kazakhstan question. I miss Kazakhstan. All right, I'll explain so this I met you in Ethiopia, and you said Astana is the most futuristic city. Wow, well, very cool. We met in Ethiopia. Can you remind me, or um, were you showing me around Addis, or can you trigger my memory? Yes, Astana is no longer called Astana. It's been. Oh, okay, all right. We've got a Jewish connection. Okay, yeah, I've been outed. I think everyone knows by now that I'm Jewish, but if you you didn't know, but I'm not part of the Zionist cabal. Although you can make up your own mind. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm a Rothschild reptilian Zionist. Yeah. So, for what it's worth, I am a proud Jew. The question was about. All right, no, I'm not in Kazakhstan, although I now have I have my two most favorite rooms or locations with views, locations I've stayed with views. Okay, enough about the Jewish stuff. I'm in the middle of a broadcast that I'm trying to wrap up. Okay, so before I came here, before I stayed in this very hotel room, my apartment that I had gotten on Airbnb once in Astana, Kazakhstan, was my very favorite viewpoint of all time, and of any place I'd stayed. And I did a podcast that is still to this day my favorite podcast. Oh, now Julio's in. Hi, Julio. Thanks for joining. So I did a podcast from this apartment in Astana. And in the podcast, you can literally see in the background the presidential palace and these huge, I call them walls of bureaucrats that are that are basically protecting the presidential palace. And Astana, now Nur Sultan, I need to go back there. It's been renamed after Nazarbayev, who actually stepped down as president. Interesting things have happened in Kazakhstan. But no, I'm not there. But until I came here, where my current room literally has a view of Hagia Sophia. Shivani's saying happy birthday to you. Thank you very much, Shivani. So my current room has a view of Sultanahmet, the mosque, Hagia Sophia, Sea of Marmara, to some extent, I guess you can make out the Topkapi Saray, the old Ottoman palace, and I'm in Istanbul. It says it in the, doesn't it say that in the title? Um, yeah, so you can see Asia, whatever. I mean, it's an incredible view. You can see all the most historic stuff. You can see multiple waterways. You can see two continents. So I'm in love with this location. I don't want to leave. But yeah, I now have two favorite views from places I've stayed. One was in Astana, and one is here in Istanbul in the old town. Lots of comments. When's the next time you're going back to LA? Like I was saying, this winter I'm headed to Latin America. My rough plan is to go up from northern South America through Central America into Mexico, and then up to my home state of California and return to LA before flying back to Europe after winter's over. Wait, that's so cool. You're gonna go to Israel? I was just in Israel, bro. You're not keeping up with the times. I was just in Israel last month. Okay. I'm skipping over the Jewish stuff. Yeah, we all know I'm Jewish. All right. I mean, I think you guys got the point. This was the crystals aligned. I don't know what. I didn't tell Luke to tune in, and he tuned in. And for that matter, I didn't tell anyone to tune in, and we're doing this on a Tuesday, so I'm grateful for whoever's watching and for whoever's watching on the replay. And I'm extremely grateful to be where I'm at in life. I really am. What is your position on passive income models? Do they even exist? So were you watching or were you not watching, Julio? Because you seem to have somewhat of an idea of what we're talking about. I'm no passive income guru, but I don't think any income is 100% passive, but I do think many people in business are very successful in systemizing their businesses so they become very hands-off. I guess that is my answer to the question. You were in Israel last month. We were probably there at the same time. I never did any videos about it because it was a bit hectic. Lots of coming and going and schlepping. But yeah, I was there with my father. It was a once-in-a-lifetime trip. It was a very, very memorable experience for both of us. We were in mostly Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and Eilat. Julio says, I just got in 2 minutes ago. Sorry for asking questions out of context. No, they're not out of context. We typically don't cover anything related to passive income on this stream, but maybe we will be in the future, because as I was saying over the course of this stream, I'm pivoting. My direction is changing from being focused on the ground reporting to being someone who is focused on funding critical media. And I talked about, got a long comment, happiest of birthdays, love, light, and blessings, continue journey. Something about Luke and looking up crystals. Oh yeah, Brock Bell, thank you very much for all the warm birthday wishes. And yeah, I'm wrapping up right now as well. But anyway, yeah, Julio. So my focus for the upcoming decade is on funding critical media. It's on the business side of critical media. I'm shifting from a focus on the reporting side to the business side. It's something I'm excited about. To me, it's a merger of what's needed and what I'm passionate about. And yeah, so lots of travel still ahead. I'm not giving up the nomad thing, and I'm not giving up the reporting thing. I still have reporting work. I still want to be doing reporting and correspondent work, and I'm going to fit it in as well as I can, but there's a need for some dengue. There's a need for some money, and hopefully I can make that happen. Hopefully we can make it rain for critical media. That's where I stand. on my 30th birthday and looking to the decade ahead. Any last comments or questions? If not, I will wrap this up, maybe go find some crystals, get back to work, and celebrate tonight. Nomadism and reporting are great, but I see journalism as dying, likely irrecoverable industry, sadly. I don't see journalism as dying. We could debate this in future broadcasts. I see journalism as evolving, and I see it as a very difficult time to... You got a crystal birthday gift from me. Okay, thank you very much, Luke. I I see journalists, especially those like Luke, myself, and those who work for the publications that I work for and associate myself. I see us up against a lot of hurdles. But to me, those hurdles and challenges are opportunities, and I'm not gonna let it die. I'm not gonna let it die off. So there we go. There's the task at hand for the next decade. Woohoo! Here we go. Okay, we'll end it with that. Woohoo! Here we go. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Thank you, Luke, for joining in. Thank you for everyone else who made this stream fun and entertaining for me. Güle, possibly for the final time this year from Istanbul, although I do have a flight that's connecting here, but this might be the last time I'll be coming to you from Istanbul in 2019. I expect to be back in 2020. I love the city. It's basically my new home base, even though I don't really have one. But yeah, teşekkürler Ardam, as they say. Thank you very much. Güle, goodbye from Istanbul, Turkey.